Hi, Stu Downward here. This is GG6070, the challenge of climate change. And I want to introduce the next assessment you need to do as part of the program. If you go to the module on Canvas and then go to assignments, you'll see the assignments you have. You've completed the climate science report and you can open that and read the feedback you've received from Kerry Brown. Take a look at that feedback, make sure you develop the good practices and learn from the areas for improvement. This is the next report you're going to do, the Climate Policy and Practice Report. And you can see that it's due in on the 15th of February. We open that, you'll see then we've got a downloadable Word document with the terms of reference and the assessment criteria, which replicate what you'll see in this file as well. And again, the submission date of the 15th of February. Open this file, it opens the Word document, and it sets out exactly what's required from this assessment. Here we go. So let's go through it. What's the aim of this assessment? Well, the aim is to investigate a climate issue that debates the issue from a range of potential stakeholder perspectives. You'll be aware that whenever we look at different climate issues, people have very different voices, different opinions, different ideas about climate change policy and practice. So, for example, if you're looking at nuclear energy, there may be some people who might have a very pro-nuclear argument. People perhaps have a very anti-nuclear stance. So different stakeholders have lots of different perspectives. And what we're trying to do in this assessment is to have you think about those different perspectives and try to argue both of those cases. So in doing so, you'll investigate the stakeholder perspectives and policies surrounding the topic and give examples of practice as evidence to support both sides of the debate. So as well as giving the example, you're also then trying to think of how this plays out in practice. Okay? And then B, based on your analysis of the arguments and the evidence you discover, you will formulate and present your own personal recommendations for the future. So what we're saying is, let's look at both sides of the debate. Let's investigate the literature about both sides of the debate. Let's present both sides. And now let's try to find some sort of personal recommendations that you would do if you were in policy practice to try to make a difference yourself. So what would you do? We've given you a range of different possibilities to choose from. So you really can find any number of different topics here, which hopefully one of these will resonate with you. You can choose any one of these 6. And they are whether nuclear energy has a role in a low carbon energy system. Are international climate change agreements essential for effective climate change action? Is behavioral change an important focus for climate change policy and practice? Who should pay for climate change mitigation and adaptation in developing countries? Is the EU emissions trading system a cost-effective way to reduce carbon emissions in Europe? And number 6, is geoengineering the answer to the challenge of climate change? So hopefully there's something there for everyone. Choose a topic that you're interested in and get involved with the literature. Start to read up around this and try to unpick the different perspectives on that topic and find examples to support those ideas. These are the terms of reference. The assessment's worth 30% of the module marks, and it's an individual assessment. It's important you define the geographical dimension of your investigation. So is it a national, a UK-based perspective? Is it a European-based perspective, or perhaps a global perspective? We don't specify for any of these 6 questions. You can choose for yourself, but just want to make sure that your introduction clearly defines exactly what the geographical reach is that you'll be presenting. It's a report, not an essay. So you should structure your writing as a report. That's to say, it needs to have sections which are clearly defined, subsections perhaps clearly defined, and of course you can use numbers for those sections. So section 1, introduction, section 2, section 3, etc., and subsections of those. So making sure it's represented as a report, clearly defined, short, snappy paragraphs. Your report should include a cover page, a table of contents, an executive summary, like an abstract, giving details of, overall, what are the overall findings of this research that you've done, an introduction to the topic that provides the context and the direction of the report. So, let the reader know exactly how the report is going to unfold. Numbered headings I've mentioned, and importantly, the use of figures and tables to illustrate key points where relevant. Again, one of the things we're thinking about here are employability skills and your ability to produce a report which is kind of mimicking what a professional report might look like. And of course, that's not just about communicating textually, it's also about graphical communication and the use of original graphics to help you support that. So flowcharts, diagrams, maps, etc. Things that you can bring to the text to illustrate and make it as interesting as possible. You've got 2,500 words. That excludes any references and graphics. So again, graphics are a good way to get information across without dipping into your word limit, and you can use the text then to argue and debate the issues and the critical analysis. And obviously your citation and referencing should be absolutely perfect at level 6 now and should use a Harvard system. When you submit this work, we're going to assess it against 1, 2, 3, 4 criteria. The principal one will be the analysis. Okay, so there's to be an outline and evaluation of your stakeholder perspectives on your chosen topic. We'll be looking to the recommendations that you make and how valid those recommendations might be. We'll be looking at the structure and presentation of your report. And again, 25% given to this. And this again emphasizes the employability skills we're trying to develop here. So a clear introduction, a clear, well-defined narrative, a good logical sequencing of the sections. So think this through, plan it through very carefully, and creative use of graphics, as I've already mentioned. Okay. And then finally, referencing and citations. So we're looking to see a range of different references here, not just web-based references, of course, but academic references, supporting those arguments, developing those arguments, and references that give a breadth of viewpoint across the title you've chosen to do. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask myself or Kerry about these, and we can get back to you. Okay, thank you.